I want to welcome everybody to the November 2nd Subdivision and Utility Advisory Meeting. Could we have our opening announcements, please?
Before we begin the agenda, the Wichita-Sedgwick County Metropolitan Area Planning Commission would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to this public hearing. Copies of the agenda for today's meeting, the public hearing procedure, and Planning Department staff reports on all agenda items are available on the counter in the lobby. The Planning Commission's bylaws limit the applicant of a subdivision application and his or her representatives to a total of 10 minutes of speaking time at the start of the hearing on that item, plus up to 2 minutes at the conclusion of that hearing. All other persons wishing to speak on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per person. However, if they feel that it is needed and justified, the Commission may extend these times by a majority vote. All speakers are requested to state his or her name and address for the record when beginning to speak. When you are finished speaking, please share your name, address, and the case number on the sheet provided in the room. This will enable staff to notify you if there are any additional proceedings concerning that item. All speakers at the podium, please remove your face mask before speaking into the microphone.
Thank you. Next item could have roll call.
Yes, sir. Bill Johnson,
Here.
Mike Green, Bob Duell, Ann Fox,
Here.
Josh Blick, looks like he's absent, Bob Aldrich,
Here.
and John Williams Bay. Sir, I show 6 members present.
So we got a quorum, so we don't need the alternates, so we can
Correct.
release the alternates. First case is vacation case 2023-00042. Could we hear that from staff, please?
Paul oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Good morning, Philip Zievenbergen for the record. Vacation 2342 is a request to vacate a portion of a 15-foot drainage easement that is platted on Lot 1, Block 2 of the Park Lane addition. It's generally located on the the northeast corner of East Harry and South Oliver. If approved, the vacation would allow the applicant to redevelop the property. If you want to go to the site plan, please. There's an existing building on the property, and they're looking to raise the existing building and redevelop it with a different building and orientation in the parking lot. The FEMA floodplain shows most of the site in the AE FEMA floodplain except for the current building pad. The applicant intends to raise the existing building. Any new construction would have to follow any FEMA regulations regarding changes to the floodplain. There are no public utilities in the area being vacated. There is a sewer extension that crosses. If you go to the aerial map, please. There's a sewer extension that on the original aerial map that we had in your packet, it showed that it crossed it, but Public Works did some research on the actual location, and Paul, if you go back to the previous one, and it was determined that that sewer extension was actually not on any private property, so there's no need for any easements to cover that extension. There are public stormwater facilities within the continuation easement on the south side of Lot 1, that portion of the easement is being retained, so there should be no issues with those facilities. Wichita Public Works does not object to this. Evergy has no objections as well. They do not have any equipment in the easement. I have not heard any public comments on this, and I can stand for any questions.
Any questions of staff? Thank you, Philip. Any other advisory members have any comment on this? Hearing none, let's have the agent or applicant please come forward. You got 10 minutes, and give us your name and address, please.
Hello, good morning. My name is Dustin Marsh. I am the agent for the applicant, SPT Architecture, 311 South Broadway. I think Philip did a nice job of kind of summarizing kind of what we're looking to do here. I don't really have anything more to add to that other than the reason for the vacation was just to allow us a little more flexibility with a little bit larger building size, and with a desire for kind of a drive-through circumstance and as many places in the building for flexibility for the client as we could. You can kind of see on that southeast corner, which is where we were needing a little bit more room. So that's really the kind of the root of why we're seeking this vacation. And like Philip had alluded to, we aren't asking for any kind of vacation where we're hitting any kind of existing storm sewer that's currently there. So if there's any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer those at this time.
Any questions, the agent? Guess not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the commission chambers here that would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve for staff comments.
Second.
Got a motion approved by John Williams Bay, second by Ms. Fox. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? 6-0. The next item is subdivision item 2023-00045, one-step final plat for KWH3 addition. Staff, please.
Yep. Good morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff. This is a one-step final plat for 8-lot residential subdivision in the county within the city of Wichita 3-mile ring and within the Valley Center small urban growth area. Next slide, please. The aerial, next slide. This is the plat as presented. Staff comments, item A, should read, the first sentence should read, since sanitary sewer is unavailable instead of available. Should read that. Tests need to be completed for any on-site sewage and or water wells. Memo shall be presented to MABCD and soil work is needed. Item B, the applicant proposes sewage lagoons and the subdivision regulations require 5 acres for lagoons. And lots 1, 2, 3, and 8 do not meet the 5-acre requirement. So a waiver from sewage lagoon area requirements will be needed. Item C, stormwater management advises that the drainage plan needs to be submitted. Actually, I did get comment back from them that they have approved the drainage plan. Item D, regarding access controls, joint access controls, there has been a plan that has been submitted yesterday, and so it is in the process of Public Works reviewing that plan and submitting comments to address these issues of access controls. The new plan that was submitted addresses item E, item G, item H, item I is standard fire department comments regarding access roads. Item J, standard city fire addressing hydrant locations. Item K, M, N, O, P, R have all been addressed through this revised plan that was submitted. Item R, additional surveying comments from that revised plan submitted have been received, and those have been given to the applicant. And item T, Evergy will not need to request any additional easements at this time. Questions?
Any questions of staff? Any
On item E, did you say that they had, with the new layout or the new plan, that has been covered?
Yeah, they submitted, and I think, yeah, if you look on this is the new subdivision plat that they submitted. If you look on the screen for lot 7, what is it, 6 and 7, you can see the 20-foot setback has been platted on there. So that takes care of item E, has been addressed.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions of staff? Thank you. Any other advisory members have any? Go ahead.
This is Daniel Schreiner with Public Works. We did provide comments shortly before this meeting, so you do have those, Greg. And so I'll just point out with the access controls, as is shown on the revised plat, they have extended that joint access agreement between lots 2 and 3 over to lot 1. And we need to confine the opening to be across the street from 81st Street Court so that we meet the access control policy. And then I think we also need to work on access to lot 4 on the new plat, but I think we're close enough that we can work through that.
Anybody else? Kelly?
Yeah, Kelly Dixon, Metropolitan Area Building. According to item B, where they're talking about the lagoon waiver, the Sedgwick County Sanitary Code limits that to 3 acres for a minimum lot size. So if a waiver would be granted, it would have to limit it to 3. Yes.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Wichita City Water. We had just got this just a couple days ago, but I just want to get on record that the water line easement that they have going through lot 4, 1, and 2, the separate instrument recording information was incorrect, and the easement needs to be 25 feet, not 20.
Any other comments? Thank you. Agent or applicant, please.
Good morning, I'm Dan Garber with Garber Surveying Service, 2908 North Plum Street in Hutchinson, and 544 West Douglas here in Wichita, on behalf of the applicant. We are in agreement with the staff comments. I think we had a drafting error on the controlled access along 81st Street. Our intention is to just have the opening that lines up with 81st Street Court to the south. And so we'll fix that. The intention is for lots 1, 2, and 3 to enter lot 3 just across from 81st Street Court, and then lots 1 and 2 will access west from there on private property. And we will work on with Daniel on the access for lot 4. Our intention is to have not lagoons, but to have lateral fields there. I think perhaps we made an error on the application. And in speaking with Tim Wagner, I believe we can go below 5 acres with the advanced systems. And so that's the intention on those 4 lots. So I believe we're in agreement with all the staff comments, and we're meeting those. We'll continue to work with staff to make sure those are resolved. I stand for any questions.
Any questions, the agent? Guess not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody here in the commission chambers want to speak on this item? Anybody else want to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
I actually have a question for the planning department. Would the laterals, would that take care of the issue with minimum of 3 acre lots?
Yeah, to use laterals or the advanced septic, they have a minimum 2 acres in this zoning.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Move to approve item number 4 per staff comments and corrections that have been reflected in the conversation of this meeting. Including the we don't, no waivers needed since we're changing the language to lateral lines or advanced septic.
True, but you said item 4? We're on item 3, right?
And item 4.
Yeah, we're on agenda item 3, I think.
Oh, Lord.
That's okay.
Move to approve case number subdivision 2023-00045 in accordance with the corrections and changes made during this meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Fox, second by Mr. Dool. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Anybody opposed? 6-0. Next item, subdivision 2023-00046, hydraulic and 47th Street South.
Neil Straw, planning staff. This is a one-step final plat. This encompasses 5 lots. Zoning is LC Limited Commercial. The plat doesn't include the vacation of a right-of-way, which is located right there, so that will be included within a lot. Next slide, please. Next slide. Per item A, Public Works is requiring the applicant to extend water to Lot 2 and sewer also extended to Lot 2 and Lot 1, Block E. Private sewer project is required before the easement can be vacated in the northeast corner of Reserve B, which I believe is right there. Next slide, please. Yeah, it's right there. And also Public Works wanted some clarification regarding the sewer easement in Lot 1, Block A. It's along the south here. Per item C, that can be updated. I was informed by City Stormwater the drainage plan has been approved. Standard comment from City Fire per item D, and the street names have been approved by by GIS. Regarding access controls in item F, one opening along hydraulic has been proposed and 2 street openings along 47th, although there was not access controls denoted there. Traffic engineering is requiring that hydraulic approach be limited to rights in, rights out only. They are striking the following comment on the right-of-way dimensions. The plat is accurate, so that can be deleted. And as I mentioned, access control needs to be denoted along 47th Street South, except for the 2 street openings. There will be traffic calming elements required along Minneapolis. That's the easternmost north-south street. The 60-foot right-of-way for both arterials is approved with that 10-foot dedication of right-of-way. The internal streets are less than our required commercial street standards, which should be a 70-foot right-of-way. There's 67 feet, so we need an additional 3 feet of dedication. So they comply with subdivision standards for commercial streets. Also per item H, sidewalks would be required along the internal street frontage of Kansas and Minneapolis. and paving of those streets required to commercial street standards. Per item L, pipeline easement, which is shown on the plat as to be vacated with the plat. However, that cannot be done since the city of Wichita is not a party to the pipeline easement, therefore it can't be vacated with the plat. We would need a separate release of that easement from the pipeline company for that. We'll need those blocks correctly labeled per item N. Evergy has requested additional easements. I need also to explain an email I received from the South Area Neighborhood Association. If we could go back to the, probably the zoning map would be best. First slide, please. Okay, these are the residents that reside just north of Fernwood. The email said that the application is not in conformance with the South Wichita-Hayesville area plan, which recommends residential development for the site. If it must proceed as commercial, we request no through streets to Fernwood. We have concerns of increased traffic that will impact the neighborhood that sits directly north of this proposed development. Having the two proposed through streets from 47th to Fernwood will give the westbound traffic on 47th the opportunity to avoid the traffic light at the intersection of 47th and Hydraulic when wanting to go northbound on Hydraulic. Also, southbound traffic wanting to go east on 47th will divert through the same way to avoid the traffic light. The last proposal for the property was an RV campground, zoning case 2022-68, and that was to have no through streets to Fernwood. If it is possible to have the same thing done with this new proposal, it would greatly help to keep the current quality of life in the neighborhood. This was the case with the streets Minneapolis and Minnesota, which are down here. Located on the south side of 47th Street, traffic would divert onto those streets located on the south side of 47th to avoid the traffic lights, and those streets were closed to through traffic many years ago. Any questions for staff?
Any questions of staff? Mike?
Yeah, I've got one for traffic. Can you explain what is going to happen at 47, at the intersection, with regards to what appears to be XL and decel lanes for the turning movement from westbound to northbound? Is that required, or are you just going to be giving them, requiring a 60-foot right-of-way across, completely fronting both Hydraulic and 47? Was it not a clear question?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
so part of the comment here is the 60-foot right-of-way is approved, an existing right-of-way of 50 foot plus 10 foot of dedicated right-of-way. And then I think the comment was made that at the major intersection, the right-of-way platted 25 feet, that is being stricken from what you're requiring.
Yeah, basically what that was saying was we were using some information up in our department that was contrary to subdivision regulations, which measured the 250 feet from the section line, not the perpendicular property line. So we are okay with that. And that was all we meant to say. Well, that's why we struck that comment.
So-
There would be 60-foot right away. One of the comments, we were good with the 60-foot right away is approved. Existing there was 50 feet, and then with the dedication, there's an additional 10 feet, making 60 feet.
So are we still gonna have the requirement of basically a right turn lane where there'll be more right-of-way taken there at the intersection there, or the south, I guess it'd be the southwest corner of that lot?
Yeah, well, if there's an additional turn lane there, we'll have enough room with these, with the platted dimensions, so.
So, and that's based on the, let's see, the access management? Is that what is?
Yeah,
calling that
that's correct.
When was that implemented? Do you know?
Well, I was just made aware of it being in the subdivision regulations last time we met. And it wasn't coinciding with what we had up in our department. And I don't know when that came about as far as subdivision regs, but,
I think it's about 2001.
Okay. Well, and the reason why I ask is because the quick trip on the southwest corner of the intersection, it does not have the same right-of-way being taken for a right turn lane from 47th onto Hydraulic. And it's got the 25-foot clip, but it doesn't have the extra right-of-way being taken. I was just wondering how that got past the system and why this one is being.
I can't recall, Mr. Green. I don't know how that happened, so.
Okay, well, if the applicant has no problems, I guess. I don't.
Any other questions? Bob?
It was brought up as far as access, off of, Kansas, Street and also Minneapolis onto, East Fernwood Street, not be allowed. I just want to hear some feedback from traffic fire on that.
Yeah, I think that's quite a distance for cut-through traffic to avoid a signal at the corner. And it's about 1,200 feet if you go up Kansas over on Fernwood. So that would be quite a distance. Best engineering judgment says a lot of people won't be making that movement.
So is it necessary though for fire to have, when it's a commercial block, to separate the commercial from the residential at that location?
I don't think fire's here, so I can't speak for them.
Are you fire? Oh,
I'm with Sedgwick County Fire District 1.
He has an opinion, but he won't share. Doesn't have to.
Any other,
compel testimony?
any,
As a point of, if this were in the fire district, the more points of access, the better. I mean,
any other advisory board members have any comments?
Yeah, this is Matt Schultz, City Engineering. The easement that is in the northeast corner of Reserve B, I'd like to work with the agent a little bit between the next approval to verify what that easement was originally intended for. And then determine at that time if vacation of that easement is acceptable.
Anybody else got any comments? Did you have any other comment, Ms. Fox? Applicant or agent?
Kirk Miller, K.E. Miller Engineering, 117 East Louis. I'm the agent. For the most part, we're fine with everything. A couple issues with the traffic. On hydraulic, we have our one drive, and they want it to be a right in, right out. And right now, that would be our only access point onto hydraulic, and probably the first thing that would develop would be the southwest corner of this plat. So that would be our main point of access, and right in, right out would be very difficult at that point. And it doesn't look like there's a median out there in hydraulic. So you'll put some kind of a pork chop type thing in there or something. People are probably gonna drive over it and create a hazard out there if we did something like that. I would prefer not to have right in, right out. If it would make traffic feel a little better, maybe, and the location we have right now is shown there because that's where the existing drive is. We don't know for sure how that's gonna develop, but if it would make traffic feel better, maybe we have a full access, and maybe from that south end of that drive to the north end of the property, we just limit it to one opening. So if we can slide that drive further up, it gets it further away from the intersection, has better movement. That's,
Yeah, I would entertain that.
okay.
If you can move it north a little more than,
And I don't know what we can do at this point, but, you know, that would be an option if we could just maybe say one opening and have a full access along there, just one opening for that length from the south end up. Okay. On the two north-south streets where we have existing right-of-ways, the existing pavement on each one of them is about 35 feet back-to-back on both the north end and the south end where the roads are gonna go through. Which we would like to, I mean, what they're saying is they want 41 feet. I would prefer to more match what's out there rather than widen the road to go through this project and then narrow it back up. And at this point, the two roads, you know, we're looking, I mean, definitely that southwest corner will be commercial. But those could, you know, with the zoning, they could still be residential. If those two roads go through, we could still have residential on either side of them. It's, the location of those roads are ideal for something along those lines of residential. So that's still a possibility, and then we'd have a 41-foot street for residential use. I would prefer we just match what's there as far as pavement width and right-of-way width. Right-of-way width is, I think, 67 on that south end, so if we wanted to push 67 through and then match the pavement, we'd probably be fine with that.
yeah, we would like to match the subdivision regulations though for what it's currently zoned for, not what in the future it may be. So it's currently zoned for commercial or industrial, and that's what the regulations are showing. You could ask for a waiver of that, but.
Okay, I'm asking for a waiver of that. And otherwise, I think we're fine with staff comments. I'll work with Matt on that one little easement we want to get rid of.
Any questions, the agent? Seeing none, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anybody else here in the commission chambers wanting to speak on this item? Anybody else want to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move that we approve the plat along with the discussion concerning the one approach on hydraulic that has the flexibility of moving to the north so that it can be a full access, and also waive the 41-foot back-to-back paving and have it match what's there.
Question, if I might, and that would be pretty much contingent upon whether or not the applicant got the easement waiver from the pipeline company, wouldn't it?
Say the question again, I'm sorry.
Wouldn't that be contingent upon whether the applicant got the approval of the easement waiver from the pipeline company?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that probably the access management regulations, in order for that to be a full movement approach, how far would that need to be from the intersection in order for that to be outside of what would be a right in, right out?
Well, we're pretty flexible on that, and it's measured from the edge of 47th Street. It would have to be, we say 400 feet, but we tend to flex about 350 feet, so.
All right. Does that help, Bob? Yeah, okay.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Green, second by Mr. Aldridge. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 6-0. The next item, subdivision item 2023-00048, Hoheisel addition.
Greg Sharon, planning staff, here to present Hoheisel addition. This is a one-lot residential subdivision in the county. Next screen. Aerial, next screen. Like I said, a one-step plat. Staff comments, item A, sanitary sewer and municipal water is unavailable for this property. So MABCD will need a test and memo for any on-site sewage and water wells. Item B, stormwater management advises applicant needs to submit a drainage plan. Item E, standard county fire department comment regarding service drive. Item F, county public works approves of the access controls. There's one access opening shown along West 63rd Street South. Item G, county public works approves of the right-of-way dedication along West 63rd Street South. And item Q, this area is not located in Evergy territory. So any questions?
Any questions of staff? Seeing none, thank you. Any other advisory board members have any comment on this? Applicant or agent?
Chris Rose with Boffman Company, agent for the applicant. The applicant agrees with staff comments, and I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions of the agent? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody here in the commission chambers want to speak on this item? Anyone want to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Aldridge, second by Mr. John Williams-May. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Is there any other business, Philip? Then we're adjourned.